So I saw this picture on Facebook and I had a little bit of an epiphany, or I kind of connected some dots. This picture helped me to connect the physical part, the scientific part, and the spiritual God parts of you, of me, and how it's going to be shown in here, but it's kind of hidden a little bit. So let me break some things down the way that I see things, the way that I, Michael Hacker, understands the way that life works, and I hope this creates some clarity for you. There's God, there's you. How do these pieces interact together? Let's talk about it. So let's first talk about this picture though. So the context with this picture that I saw on Facebook was they're using this to point to this scientific study that was done in a different country. And they measured how much energy, which you can measure scientifically, how much energy is being put out into the world from your physical body. And they found somebody in a neutral state will send out a certain amount of photons of energy out into the world. When you move into a state of fear, you have less photons, you're a less powerful battery, if you want to call it that. And when you're in a state of love, you're much more powerful. You're sending much more photons and energy out into the world. So when you hold higher vibrational emotional states, your physical mechanism, your energy around you, electromagnetic field, will also increase in energy. You're sending out more photons, and I'm sure other stuff, but that's one thing that they're measuring. So this stuff around the human, this represents his electromagnetic field. This is also a torus, T-O-R-U-S. So the way the energy moves in the physical human structure is comes down through the center column, and then it loops back around, and then it comes back in. Loops around, comes back in. So down, around, and through. Or some people like to say above, down, inside, out, and then the process continues. So state of fear, state of love. Maybe love really is stronger than fear. Interesting. So now look at this bottom picture. We have this energy coming down. You can see a lot of energy coming down. And then we notice it interacts, it kind of centers around the heart. And then it loops around, down and around, above, down, inside, out. Cool. So this is showing just the waves of energy moving through your body. Now, did you also know the brain actually sends more information, or excuse me, I said that wrong. The heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart? It's cool to know. And did you know that information is processed emotionally before consciously or logically? Did you know that the heart has a significantly more powerful electromagnetic field than the brain? So 3 different ways we're showing that the information energy actually seems to hit the heart first, and then it goes to the brain. Interesting. So let me draw you a couple stuff. Let me tie some ideas together. So here's the way, now matching that up with something else. We're going to be pairing these ideas together, okay? So first, let's talk about God. I'm going to call God X, because you might call God Allah. You might call it, whatever else you call it. God, Dios, anything else, whatever you want to call it, I'm happy with. I'm going to call it X because it's the scientific symbol for the great unknown. So we have X, we have God, and then we have you, me, people. So we got our heads, we got our spine, feet, arms. Yes, I am a professional artist. Thank you for noticing. We have our heart, which loops around. Okay, cool. Oof, that was painful. So just like in the previous picture, we have this energy coming down. Now, we have God and we have human. Now, think about this for a second before I draw. Somebody a minute before they die, and then a minute after their death. If you weigh them, they're probably the same weight. I could be wrong, but they're the same weight. Nothing's left for the most part, maybe some air. But the person is alive in one instance, dead in another. Now, from a physical level, we don't know anything that's gone. Like everything there is still there. So why can't we go Frankenstein style, stick something in the neck, juice up the body full of electricity, and then they're alive again. They're walking and talking, and they're good. Now, it kind of worked a little bit when you get like a heart attack and you gotta go, clear, boom, kind of resets everything, an electrical impulse to reset the whole body. But what happens when they can't bring you back? Why can't they bring you back? Why not? You still got a brain. If our body was running by electricity, you'd be able to just fill me electricity, but it doesn't work that way, does it? So here's why, or here's one theory of why. We have this God energy coming down, giving you life, coming down, this pure eternal energy of God, okay? Limitless. It has no limit. It's coming down from him to you. It gets anchored in your heart. Now, it's interesting because how many great spiritual cultures and people have mentioned the heart, the heart, the heart. They don't even give a crap about your brain. They care about the heart. Because the heart is where this God energy is anchored into your physical body. Or so they say. And I think they're right. And then they say, so now, okay, so we have God, and then we have this energy coming down into my physical body. Now, the physical human, we're in this little box, not really a box, but we're going to call it, third dimension, 3D. We're on Earth. Welcome. Now, on Earth, we have certain rules, or in this universe, we have certain rules we have to follow. Some people know this as the Hermetic laws. You can find this in the Kabbalion. Not the Kabbalah, but the Kabbalion. And in there, it talks about the universe has rules. Because either it's working with rules or it's working random and haphazardly. So it's got rules. Here are 7 rules that when we understand them, we can understand the rules of the game, and then you get to play the game a little bit better. So one of the rules, or the laws, is the law of polarity, which states basically 2 opposites of the same thing in differing degrees. For example, let's say we have health on one end of the spectrum, disease of the other. Or how about we do light and dark? So let's do light and dark first. Now, if you are in a room and it's dark, you don't really look for the dark switch, do you? You look for the light switch and you turn it from off to on. So darkness is not a thing. It just, there's light and then there's less light until there's no light. So darkness is simply lack of light. So darkness and light are the same thing, just in varying degrees. The same thing is true for your health. Health and disease are the same thing. And in the same way that you don't fight darkness, you just turn on a light. If you find a real good healer, they're not going to be fighting your disease. They're going to teach you how to turn on your health. Just like you can't stop being angry, you can only start being more patient. So similarly, this is how it all works. So things are either positive or negative. Okay? Positive or negative. And with this positive or negative is your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. Now, thoughts and feelings actually just serve to support the belief, but let's say all 3. Those 3 things will change or qualify. So this pure green energy, representing God, this pure green energy, we are now going to say is once this pure energy hits my field, my energetic field, or my heart, it's going to be changed. It's going to be tinted to a different color because my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs change it to whatever I am currently feeling. So it's going to go, this green, it's going to go from there. And then based upon what I'm thinking, feeling, and acting, it's going to go out into the world. And then you're going to express this stuff into the world, whatever that is. Now, in the previous picture, we saw how the energy would kind of loop out and around, right? Well, if you have, let's say you're thinking, let's do it this way. You're thinking positive thoughts. Positive thoughts. Now, what's an example of a negative thought? It's like, oh, my head hurt 6 days this week. What's a positive thought? Like, oh, my head usually hurts 7. It only hurts 6 this time. I must be doing something right. That's one small, easy example. Now, we have this pure energy of God. We now are understanding that with your positive thoughts, choosing to see the world in a positive way, now that's going to qualify. It's going to change this pure energy of God into positive energy. It's going to loop back around just like in the previous picture, and it's going to re-enter your world. So remember, or not even remember, have you ever heard of karma? Have you ever heard of the law of cause and effect? Have you heard of the law of sowing and reaping? It's all the same stuff. What you put out, you get back. Well, boom, here's a scientific way mixed with a spiritual understanding of how this works. So we have the positive thing. So if you're constantly grateful, do you see it? Do you see how your life gets better when you are focusing on the things that you do want, focusing on where you do want to go? Now, what's the other option? You could do negative. You could think negative. Now, you know all the people that are self-proclaimed and proud pessimists, and I'm a realist. Well, look at your life, because if we're looking at things in an inherently negative way, now this energy from the pure green is going to be changed to this negative energy, blue, coming back into your life. All this negative back into your life. Oh, someone's going to get me. Oh, I don't trust people until they've given me a reason to trust them. Do you see what you're feeding back into your life, this negativity? Do you see the danger in that? And so now, so we got God. He's sending this energy down based upon my thoughts, my feelings, and my beliefs. It's either going to be positive or it's going to be negative. That's going to feed itself back into my life, and it's going to start to create this loop, and that's where things happen. So when we say why do bad things happen to good people? Well, the good people were having bad thoughts. Simple as that. Why do good things happen to bad people? Well, because they're applying these principles. These principles don't care if you're a good or bad person. They just react. Gravity doesn't care. It just reacts. And so let me tie this all together to this picture. Now, doesn't this look interestingly similar? So this is a representation of God right here. And he's sending this energy that's giving you life, that's beating your heart down through here, anchored in your heart. And then the rest of the details in this picture, that's going to be for my, for my people that want to learn more about this stuff.